there for a year and a bit now, so... You know.
And the baby's fine?
Baby's fine, yeah.
What if it wasn't? What if the baby wasn't
the...
fine? What if she'd, I don't know, fallen over having one of these angioedemas?
Well, it's not the issue. The issue wasn't that. The idea was that she was fabricating the disease in herself and would therefore fabricate the disease, a disease in her child. So you've got factitious and invented illnesses, FII. This is one of these licenses.
And they just decide that you're faking
it's a license to print money for the doctors.
Did her doctor say that she didn't have this angioedema?
Well, the point is, in Sweden they said, well, your doctors were just completely useless in the northeast, because you do have this, because it happened to her when she was unconscious once. So she couldn't induce it. You know, it's madness.
But I think it's important to state that not all doctors in the northeast are useless.
No, not all doctors, but there were particular people who were coming out with a load of crap on this.
Yes, okay.
So she's there in Sweden. Everything's okay there. Right?
Yes,
now,
good.
Let's talk about the hurdles in front of people trying to fight the system. You've got the single expert problem. That is, an expert is appointed. You're not allowed. This is, if you've got a complex medical situation, you're not allowed to phone up a doctor and whilst on the phone say a little bit about the case with a view to the doctor saying whether they know anything about that sort of stuff.
You're not allowed to do that.
Your
advisors
are not allowed to do that.
No one's allowed to do that.
They're not allowed to do that without the permission of the judge.
But the social workers are allowed to do that.
Oh, because the social workers do all sorts of things. They don't worry about the law. All right?
Okay.
But let's take a case in Oldham. This is reported. Again, there's a judgment on this one. Where they did manage to get through this process. So baby had what's called shaken baby syndrome, which is a triad of things, of bleeding in the retinas in the eyes, a hemorrhage underneath the dura, which is, the dura is a covering for the brain, so just underneath there you had a hemorrhage and swelling in the brain. And there's a big argument about this as to whether this does or does not signify that a baby has been shaken.
I've read some of the stuff about this, and I know the opinions are changing, aren't they?
Well, different people have different opinions. The problem is the people who have the opinion that it's not shaking don't make as much money as those who do think it is shaking, because obviously you can't make lots of money going to reports say.
Some women have won on appeal after being locked up for many years for having.
That's right, and there was some very good research done by Irene Scheinberg at Bart's Hospital recently. It wasn't really research; it was the report of clinical records where they found that the subdural...
John, I'm sorry, but we're going for another break now. Once again, we'll see you very soon.